In a serene mountain village, nestled among tall bamboo forests and tranquil streams, lived a wise Zen master named Satoshi. His wisdom was renowned, and people traveled far and wide to seek his guidance on life's challenges. Satoshi was known not just for his teachings, but for his ability to convey profound truths in the simplest of ways. One day, a young woman named Yumi arrived at Satoshi's temple. She was a skilled artisan, known for crafting beautiful pottery, but lately, she had been struggling. Despite her talent, she was plagued by self-doubt and an unrelenting inner critic that constantly whispered, "You're not good enough," and "Your work is flawed." These thoughts weighed heavily on her heart, and she feared she would never create anything of worth again. With a heavy heart, Yumi approached Satoshi, bowing deeply before him. "Master Satoshi," she began, her voice trembling, "I feel as if I am trapped in a prison of my own making. No matter what I do, I hear this voice inside me, telling me that I am not enough, that my work is worthless. How can I silence this inner critic?" Satoshi looked at Yumi with kind eyes and nodded. "Ah, the voice of the inner critic," he said softly. "It is a companion many of us know well. But tell me, Yumi, when this voice speaks, do you always believe what it says?" Yumi thought for a moment before replying, "It's hard not to, master. The voice is so persistent, so convincing." Satoshi smiled gently. "Come with me, Yumi. I want to show you something." He led her to the edge of the village, where a small stream flowed. The water was clear and calm, reflecting the blue sky above. Satoshi sat down on a large, flat stone by the stream, and Yumi joined him. "Look at the stream," Satoshi said. "See how the water flows effortlessly over the rocks and around the bends. It does not stop, nor does it struggle against the obstacles in its path. It simply flows, always moving forward, always at peace." Yumi watched the stream, feeling a sense of calm wash over her. "Yes, master," she said quietly, "but what does this have to do with my inner critic?" Satoshi picked up a small pebble and held it in his hand. "This pebble," he said, "represents your inner critic. It is small, yet when held close to your eye, it can obscure your entire view. If you focus only on this pebble, you will miss the beauty of the stream, the sound of the water, and the feeling of peace that comes from simply being present." He then tossed the pebble into the stream, and they watched as it sank to the bottom, disappearing beneath the water. The voice of the inner critic is like this pebble. It may seem significant when you focus on it, but in reality, it is just a small part of your experience. You can choose to let it go, to allow it to sink into the depths of your mind, and instead focus on the flow of your life, just as the stream flows. Yumi nodded, beginning to understand. "But how do I let go of the pebble, master? How do I stop believing the voice?" Satoshi smiled. "The key, Yumi, is to recognize the voice for what it is. Just a voice, just thoughts passing through your mind. You are not your thoughts, nor are you the voice of your inner critic. You are the observer, the one who watches the thoughts come and go, like clouds drifting across the sky." He paused for a moment, letting his words sink in. "When the inner critic speaks, do not fight it, and do not try to silence it by force. Simply acknowledge it. Say to yourself, 'Ah, there is the voice again.' But do not engage with it, do not argue with it. Instead, return your focus to the present moment, to the flow of your life. The more you practice this, the less power the voice will have over you." Yumi listened intently, feeling a sense of clarity she hadn't felt in a long time. "So, I should observe the voice without judgment, without resistance?" "Yes," Satoshi said, "and over time, you will find that the voice becomes quieter, less insistent. It may never disappear completely, but it will no longer control you. You will be free to create, to live, to be, without the burden of self-doubt weighing you down." Yumi felt a weight lift from her shoulders. She realized that she had been giving her inner critic far too much power, allowing it to dictate her worth and her abilities. But now, she saw that she had a choice. She could listen to the voice without believing it, without letting it define her. "Thank you, Master Satoshi," she said, bowing deeply. "I understand now. I will practice observing the voice, and I will focus on the flow of my life, just as the stream flows." Satoshi smiled warmly. "Remember, Yumi, the stream does not rush, nor does it hold back. It simply flows, at peace with its path. So too can you flow through life, with grace and confidence, knowing that the voice of the inner critic is just one small pebble in the vast stream of your being." With newfound resolve, Yumi returned to her work, carrying Satoshi's teachings in her heart. As she shaped the clay with her hands, she noticed the familiar voice of doubt begin to speak. But this time, she didn't fight it or let it consume her. She simply acknowledged it, and then gently shifted her focus back to the feel of the clay, the rhythm of her breath, and the joy of creation. In time, the voice grew quieter, and Yumi's work flourished. She found a new sense of freedom in her art, a freedom that came from knowing that she was more than her thoughts, more than her doubts. She was the stream, flowing peacefully and confidently through the journey of life. So, my dear viewers, when the voice of your inner critic whispers doubts and fears, remember that you are not the voice, but the observer of it. Let the voice pass like a pebble sinking in a stream, and focus on the flow of your life. Embrace each moment with presence, and you will find that your true self, calm, confident, and capable, will guide you to where you need to be.